Hello friends! Welcome to AnimatedWonder Kids. This video is taken from the Old Testament Bible story about King Solomon, who turned away from God at the end of his life. Here's the story. Long after the civil war between David and his son Absalom, a king emerged for Israel named Solomon. King Solomon, son of Kings David and Bathsheba, was one of the most famous kings in Israel's history, known for his wisdom, wealth, and splendor. From a young age, Solomon was groomed to be the successor to David's throne. When he finally ascended the throne after his father's death, Solomon faced the enormous challenge of ruling the rapidly expanding nation of Israel. However, his success as king began when he appealed to God not for wealth or power, but for wisdom in ruling his people. God granted his request, giving him unprecedented wisdom and unmatched riches and honor. Solomon's wisdom was soon tested through various cases that came to court. One case was a dispute between two women who claimed to be the mother of a baby. In his wisdom, Solomon offered a surprising solution, namely splitting the baby in half and giving each half to the two women. However, the true mother immediately offered to give the baby to another woman so that her child would live. From this reaction, Solomon was able to determine who the true mother was, and this decision made his name known throughout the land. Apart from his wisdom in ruling, Solomon is also known as the builder of the temple. He began construction of the temple in Jerusalem, a building that became the center of worship for the Israelites. This temple was designed to be God's residence, and its construction took 7 years involving thousands of workers. Solomon ensured that every detail of this building reflected God's majesty. This temple later became a symbol of pride and the center of life for the Israeli people. At the peak of his power, Solomon developed his kingdom into a center of trade and wealth, with influence extending to neighboring lands. His abundant wealth and wisdom attracted the attention of foreign rulers, including the Queen of Sheba, who came from afar to test Solomon's wisdom. After asking many difficult questions, the Queen of Sheba finally acknowledged Solomon's wisdom and splendor, which far exceeded the news she had heard. These diplomatic relations strengthened Israel's position among other nations at that time. However, in the midst of his success, Solomon began to fall into human weakness. He married many women from foreign nations who did not worship God. His wives influenced him to worship other gods, and Solomon built temples to them, betraying the God who had blessed him with wisdom and power. This unfaithfulness provoked the wrath of God, who decided to divide the kingdom of Israel after Solomon's death. Although because of his love for David, God postponed this punishment until the reign of Solomon's son. The end of Solomon's life was marked by regret and decline. Although he ruled with great glory and wisdom, his weakness for temptation caused him to turn away from God. This disloyalty resulted in his kingdom being split after his death, dividing the nation of Israel into two kingdoms, which ultimately weakened Israel's position. The story of King Solomon is a powerful reminder that even great wisdom and power can be destroyed if a person's heart turns away from God.